Welcome to the show, everybody. I had a whoopsie.
I'm like,
I
what's
had,
going on?
I had to go to the bathroom at the last minute. I was logging in. I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta pee."
That's a terrible shame.
I
A
called my.
horrible shame.
I kind of fell asleep before the live started.
Of course he did.
I've been
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying so hard to like be woke when I get home from work, y'all. I can't. It's been hard.
Mm-mm-mm.
this the struggle is real.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what going on? What going on?
Nothing. Regular stuff.
Yay, live!
Mm-hmm.
So on today's episode, I got quite a lot of videos for y'all that we need to watch of shenanigans that's been happening over the last week or so since the last episode. And so the first one that I wanted to get into is basically why Trump basically started a cult. So here we go.
Oh
Which
no.
do you think are more dangerous, drag shows or guns to children?
Drag shows.
Drag shows. How many people do you think have been killed at a drag show?
Uh, I don't know, but the long-term effects are detrimental.
How many people do you think die every year from guns?
I have no idea.
48,000.
48,000? Okay. Well, there's probably 100,000 die from drag shows.
I just wanted y'all to see the shenanigans that Donald Trump has created.
He
That
created that shenanigan in his own head.
I mean, they had on the Trump shirt, so that just show you how his supporters think that more people die from drag shows than the 48,000 that die from gun violence a year.
I feel like that number is probably higher than that.
By now, it is. Oh my god, I forgot to get the damn picture for my example tonight. But yeah, I feel like it's probably higher than that. I agree.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
a lot of my videos I originally uploaded these in order, but for some reason this StreamYard thing put everything out of order. So uh I guess the topic is gonna be based on how the videos are gonna be played on the thing. Then I guess
Sound good to me.
so it's gonna seem like we're all over the place, y'all. I'm sorry, but I tried. I tried. But
We
here
always all over the place.
I know. So okay, actually, I'm gonna save that one for next week. So here's one of the first ones.
Yesterday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis sent a letter to the Chief Inspector General of the state of Florida demanding an investigation into how Disney outsmarted him and ended up usurping control of the Reedy Creek Charter District before DeSantis's hand-picked puppet board could take power. Literally the day before they took power, Disney finalized this move that basically sent the power back to them until 21 years after the death of the last descendant of King Charles III. So, yeah, you probably got a good, I would say at least 100 years, depending on how many kids the kids and kids' have. So yeah, at least 100 years, possibly for the rest of eternity. And Ron DeSantis is furious that he got outsmarted by Goofy and Pluto, so he is demanding an investigation. Here's what DeSantis said in his letter. These collusive and self-dealing arrangements aim to nullify the recently passed legislation, undercut Florida's legislative process, and defy the will of Floridians. Now, before I continue reading, let me stop on that part. Defy the will of Floridians? Did Floridians vote to punish Disney? No. No, we didn't. That wasn't a referendum. That wasn't an amendment on our ballots this past November. I know, I voted here. I'm a Floridian. Honestly, I don't give a damn how that district is run. It doesn't affect me at all. Disney should not have that kind of power. The state was stupid to do that to begin with. But they wanted those tourism dollars, and Disney brought them in. Disney continues to bring them in to this day. So y'all really aren't going to do much of anything because you're too dependent upon Disney. But he continues. In addition, based on initial observations of counsel, the RCID board's actions appear to suffer from serious legal infirmities, including, among other things, inadequate notice, lack of consideration, improper delegation of authority, and ethical violations such as conflicts of interest and self-dealing. Inadequate notice. All right, let me talk about that for a second because that's the only one that actually has any kind of legal ramifications. Disney was required by law to make public notice, at least to the governor's office, to the state boards, that they were going to hold this vote and what they were voting on and what they were voting on would do. Disney did that. They let everybody know. Ron DeSantis was alerted that this was going to happen, but DeSantis didn't do anything about it because he was too busy, one, going on his book tour, which is not going well, and two, going on cable news, patting himself on the back saying, I took down Disney. And Disney's like, hey, we're going to vote on this that's going to make you look real dumb, but we're giving you notice. Here it is. Then they voted on it. You had the notice. I'm sure your little inspector general is going to do everything they can to make sure that you look like you're right and they're wrong. But at the end of the day, there is nothing illegal about what Disney did. They had their lawyers looking at this for months and months and months and months and months. They did everything right. You did everything wrong. And no amount of investigation from your inspector general is going to change that.
First of all, who got the balls to fuck with Disney's lawyers? Do you know how, like, not at all. No, it's not going to go well.
Disney be on shit like this man had made, he took his own money and had his car look like, from the movie Cars, the Lightning McQueen character. He had his car look like that, and Disney, they found out and sued him. So what made this governor think that he could take on Disney and then turn around and it backfired on him? And the crazy part is when he mentioned in that thing that that Disney gave legal notice and they made it public that all this stuff was happening. It was a whole hearing and a voting going on, and dude didn't even respond to it. And then on top of that, this is the same governor that banned I believe that banned books that has to do with Black history or anything LGBT and some other things. And then is this same council who's in charge of banning these books banned the governor's book in the state of Florida in schools.
So it isn't going well indeed.
So nothing is going well for him at all.
Isn't this the same guy that was walking through a neighborhood or he was doing something when he got elected or was about to get elected and he got booed?
No, that was it. I think that was that Texas? I think that was Texas.
Oh, okay. BRB.
But the audacity for somebody to try to take on Disney is crazy. So I see another video clip right here from the same guy that we just watched. We're going to watch that video.
This week, it was revealed that Ron DeSantis ended up getting rolled by the Disney Corporation because shortly before, in fact, the day before, Ron DeSantis installed his new board of puppet cronies to oversee Disney, the previous board that was controlled by Disney had been looking through all of the legal documents that set up the Reedy Creek Charter. They were trying to find a way to not lose control of everything, and by God, they found it. This actually happened a few days before the day before. So then on the day before Trump's people took over the district, Disney's board voted to basically give Disney power over everything in the district, unilateral, non-vetoable power, the day before DeSantis' board took over. And here's the kicker. It's not just for a certain number of years. In fact, here it is. It's applicable 21 years after the death of the last survivor of the descendants of King Charles IV, King of England, living as the date of this declaration. So after the last descendant of King Charles IV passes on, 21 years after that is when this deal expires. So Disney made sure, like, listen, we're going to do this. We're going to have it forever. And they had made public what they were doing and what they were about to vote on, giving DeSantis the heads up as legally required to step in and do something. But DeSantis didn't do it because he was too busy going on cable news and doing his victory lap, talking about how he took on woke Disney. Florida's where woke goes to die. That he didn't notice that Disney was down there saying, hey, we're about to sign this legal document that's going to screw you and make you look like an idiot. Because again, they were legally required to make the announcement that they were signing this and to disclose it, and they did. So Disney did everything legally correct. The next day, DeSantis' board took over, and then this week we find out, because they just now found out, as one of them put it, it basically means that they only have authority, DeSantis' board, over roads. Like, that's all we can do is we can maintain the roads. Disney can build whatever they want, wherever they want. They can purchase whatever they want. They can build buildings as high as they want. There's nothing we can do. We can't stop them. They got us, damn it. So DeSantis' biggest victory as governor was undone before it was even done, because he wasn't paying attention because he was so busy patting himself on the back. Now, here's the even more fun part. Trump's team, before he got indicted, an anonymous Trump campaign staffer told a reporter, President Trump wrote Art of the Deal and brokered Middle East peace. Ron DeSantis just got out-negotiated by Mickey Mouse. Now, let's be clear. Donald Trump did not negotiate Middle East peace. I don't know if you've noticed there's not peace there. So I don't know why those idiots keep saying that. And he also technically didn't even write Art of the Deal. Somebody else wrote it and he slapped his name on it. So everything you said was a lie, other than the part that Ron DeSantis just got out negotiated by Mickey Mouse. Maybe that's why Disney hasn't been sweating this. Maybe that's why Disney's acted like, yeah, okay, whatever. Because they had that ace up their sleeve. But either way, this will go to court. And I don't see a way for DeSantis and his puppet board to win. Disney did everything legally correct. They were supposed to announce that they were going to do this. They announced it. This legal document is binding. It was enacted. It's allowable. So I don't see how DeSantis comes out on top of this. Disney won again. And DeSantis looks like a big old idiot.
So the funniest part to me about that whole legal document is when it was going to expire. Like, who came up with that? 21 years after the last legal. Like, they was playing in his face.
Overseas in England, that's something they do. Like, that's normal for them to do something like they say, like certain years after a certain person's death or the death of. So basically, after the last descendant of the current King of England's descendant passed away, 21 years after that person passed away is when that document is no longer active. So long as his family keep having kids, Disney will have control over that portion of Florida.
That is hilarious.
There's nothing that governor could do about it. And then on top of that, this is the same man who announced that he's running for president in 2024.
When did that happen?
Like last week.
Oh.
He announced that he's running for president. But on top of that, you're trying to maintain your position as governor, where it's written into Florida laws that if you decide to run for a political office that's basically outside of Florida or anything like that, you have to give up your position as governor. Like, you can't be governor and run for another office. So
who's the lieutenant governor?
I have no idea who the lieutenant governor is. Whoever the lieutenant governor is has been keeping a distance away from him, because I haven't heard anything in his headlines about the lieutenant governor of Florida.
This is so funny to me.
So the government is funny. And then There's the story of the Tennessee Three. If you guys are not aware, in Tennessee, they expel. Well, they had a hearings last week to expel three Tennessee legislative people representatives. Um, it was three of them, two black men and one white woman. They expelled the two black men and let the white woman stay. And she was asked, like, why do you think that they let you stay? And she clearly said it's because of my skin tone. Is the reason why they let me stay in. And the reason why they kicked them out is because when the teachers and the students, they all left out of school as they staged the walkout and went to Nashville, the capital of Nashville, Tennessee, they state capital, whatever. And they basically went in and started protesting. And the people who represent those three individuals who represent the areas where that they were affected by the school shooting, they started protesting with their people, and that's why they got expelled. And the Speaker of the House there said that they were trying to incite a riot. They were trying to compare these kids to what happened at the January 6th thing when they tried to dethrone the government and stop Biden from becoming president. So that's what the Speaker of the House said was claiming what was going on, which I don't believe. And these kids is like, we shouldn't feel like we should be able to go to school and feel safe. Like, we got to go to school worry about somebody will come in here with a gun and kill us. And all we asking y'all to do is to pass laws for gun control or do some type of laws about guns, basically. And I got more videos for y'all, by the way. But instead, you guys are passing laws to to ban drag shows. To telling somebody that, if the person who's issuing my marriage license, if I don't agree with you being an interracial couple, or I don't agree with your religion or sexual orientation, I can deny you the right to get married. Those are the laws that they're passing. And then they pass the law to end teenagers to press the process of teenagers being able to start the progress of transitioning. And then in another state where another mass shooting happened, where the guy went to the bank, and basically he went to the bank that he worked at or that he was about to get fired at. He went to this bank and just started shooting his coworkers, and I believe 4 people got killed, 9 people hurt.
Yesterday, right?
Yeah, and what pissed me off about that, they went and found the nicest picture of the man who did it. Like, the picture that was shown, like, oh, I'm thinking it was a victim. It's the man who went in there and did the shooting. But let that been a black person, we wouldn't committed a crime. They gonna go find the worst of the worst picture to make us look like a low down dirty dog and post it on and used it for TV. But in the state of Kentucky, I believe it's in Kentucky, the government there, instead of passing laws for gun control, like I believe the mayor where the shooting happened, he said, we can't do anything. Like, once somebody is killed with a gun and after the case is done and over with, they said all we can do is take the pins out the guns, and the guns go to an auction and they're back on the streets. And he was like, I want to destroy the guns. Like, once the guns have been taken from a case, whatever, the person been tried, convicted, whatever have mean, he wants the guns to be destroyed. Basically, crushed into tiny thousands of pieces. But instead of doing something about guns, they decided to pass a law to make it illegal to inspect the genitalia of transgender kids.
What?
Okay, so let me explain. So, say a transgender kid, they could identify, say a little boy, he said, I now identify as a girl, and she wants to go play on the girls' basketball team. So that transgender kid would have to go in a room with whoever they proposed to have in this room and have their genitalia inspected to make sure that they're a boy or a girl. I don't know. I don't get a boy or a girl. That's basically what the law is. So when they go and try to play a sport, they have to have their genitalia inspected. And if they try to say they identify as a girl, and then they go and do this inspection, oh, you're not a girl, so you need to play on the boys team. I'm like, this just feel like, I figure to me, if they figured out a way to be legally be perverts.
That's illegal though.
And then it don't even say like it don't say without with parent permission or anything like that. So they could just kids could be at school by themselves and get pulled into a room and have they basically private areas inspected by whoever this person wants to inspect their private areas. That's considered transgender.
So that's terrible because when you go to the doctor, you can deny a genital exam. Like you can defer the exam for one.
Mm-hmm.
And if they did want to put something to effect, which I strongly believe this is stupid on all levels, and somebody ain't got too much time on their hands. Like when you get ready to play sports, you have to have a sports exam. Maybe that should be a question they put on there if they were to try to enact that law, which again is tremendously stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then thirdly, like how you just gonna fondle somebody's genitalia? Like
like
we
what is
just
it?
went through the whole Catholic Church whole just that's just wrong on so many levels.
And disgusting.
Like that's just it's so much discrimination. You inappropriately touching people. Then it's like what's going, you know what I'm saying? Okay, then you're trying to say, well, they can't transition. Like it doesn't make any sense.
And if I can't transition, then why are you inspecting my
Genitalia. It's redundant.
Make it make sense.
It's really redundant. Like you could just easily ask for a birth certificate if you was gonna do all that.
Exactly. I feel like that's all they need to do is ask for a birth certificate or be like, well, if you're a trans, if they say like, yeah, I'm a girl now, I identify as a girl, they could just be like, well, no, because since you're not fully transitioned, you just gonna have to play on the boy scene.
Yeah.
Instead of let me take you into this room with no parental advice, no parental guidance or advisory or whatever they want to call it, parental anything, and inspect your genitalia.
So what is their reasoning behind that? Do they have a rationale?
Nope, it's just the law that they passed. They said it's to protect the children.
From what?
Hell, I don't know. That's what we've been trying to figure out for the longest time. It's just like the same thing with Texas, with Houston, with the government there taking over the public school system, and that public school system choose what books the government officials choose what get taught to the kids, what they can what books can be used, all kind of stuff. Just like I don't know if you was on the episode I told you, like in Florida they got everything anytime they want to use a Facebook video or any type of videos in class, any type of books or anything, it has to go through. It has to get scanned into the system, and it takes 2 weeks to get a thing back on whether or not they can use it or not. So all these teachers been quitting. Like pretty soon, the Florida school systems are not going to have teachers, which means you're about to have a lot of kids not being educated.
I feel like we're already there.
I mean, yeah, true. Cause I could have swore I was on. Oh my god, I was on TikTok earlier. And I forgot what this girl, it was the stupidest thing I have ever heard in my life, though. I wish I would have saved the video for y'all, but I'm going to play a clip for y'all because of these people protesting. Hopefully I can find it, y'all, because this stuff is so damn small on here. I'm not going to lie to y'all.
Ooh, child.
So this is the protest that they were saying that there was like the January 6th riot. Okay, so here we go.
What was the riot?
That's what
was
I want to know.
something?
And then they got mad because the people who represent them people that was there protested with them. Like they
It
cut
should
off their
speak volumes when the kids come and protest and say, hey, we're getting killed. We're getting shot up at school.
Exactly. Do something.
Oh my God.
Do some. And so this Generation Z, let's tell y'all this fuck around and find out movement that they're doing. It's real. So I'm gonna play this clip for y'all. I'm not sure if this is the right one, but we're gonna make sure I'm gonna play some clips for y'all.
This is an urgent call to action. We need your help here in North Carolina. This is Democratic House Representative Trisha Cottom. She represents District 112, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. She was just elected this past November and has now decided she wants to change her party affiliation from Democrat to Republican. This is terrible news because Republicans are just one seat away from getting a supermajority in our legislature. That supermajority means the Republicans can override our Democratic governor's veto. And right now, the GOP is pushing a bunch of bills that could severely impact our lives. They have filed a total abortion ban here in North Carolina with no exception for rape or incest. And we are one of the only states in the South that still has access to abortion. So lots of people are coming to our state to receive health care. They are also pushing bills that target early voting, voting rights, anti-riot bills, which are just trying to criminalize protesting, and bills that attack the LGBTQ community. So here's where you come in. We need all of you guys to call this number right here and tell her to resign from her position. People voted for her because she promised to fight for higher wages, fight for the right to have an abortion, fight for voting rights, and she is doing none of that. She is betraying her constituents and she needs to be removed right now.
I forgot about that story right there.
That's terrible, man. Like, how in the hell you gonna get elected and switch parties during your term? That should be illegal.
And I feel like if you're going to do that, if you're going to switch parties, there should automatically be another election held, a special election that needs to be held where there's another Democratic Party and another Republican Party, and there should be a vote.
Yep. Because you can't have two Republicans on the ballot like that. You gotta have at least a Republican and a Democrat, right?
Or somebody of the Green Party running.
Okay, but two opposite parties.
Yes. And then she just was like, you know what? I'm going to use their votes to get into office. So she probably planned this all along and was lying to these people. Like, I'm going to get their votes. And once I get their votes, I'm going to switch to Republican. And the Republicans probably helped her set it up that way.
Yeah, they planned that out.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
I feel like that should be illegal. And this bitch should go to jail.
Get him out here.
So
that is terrible.
Let's move on ahead to our next clip here.
Wish that in a circumstance like this, I would be able to concede to a worthy opponent. But I do not have a worthy opponent to which I can concede. This was the most deeply deceitful, dishonorable, despicable campaign I have ever seen run for the courts. It was truly beneath contempt. Now, I say this not because we did not prevail. I do not say this because of the rancid slanders that were launched against me, although that was bad enough. But that is not my concern. My concern is the damage done to the institution of the court. My opponent is a serial liar. She's disregarded judicial ethics. She's demeaned the judiciary with her behavior. And this is the future that we have to look forward to in Wisconsin.
Now, let me follow that up with this, though.
Kansas Republicans want to inspect the genitals of your children. They want to do it so bad that they overrode a veto from the governor. Every single child in the state of Kansas would have to endure a genital exam to be allowed to play sports. In a state with over 3 million people, where only half a percentage point of people identify as trans. I want y'all to really think about this one, okay? Legislators have created a law that allows them access to your children's genitals because they think you're so afraid of trans people that you're going to allow it. And what would these examinations look like? Who would be authorized to do them? How frequently would they take place? With the amount of teachers in Kansas just in the last year who have been accused and convicted of child molestation, you trust these people? These are all separate cases. You trust these people? You trust these schools to conduct genital inspections on your children? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I had to play that clip to make sure y'all, for people that thinking I was making it up. And if you're watching the video version, it's the proof of all that stuff right there. But yeah.
That is terrible. I'm like really appalled, like on so many levels. Like it's so much just ignorance and just a whole wave and movement against people's rights. Like they're literally taking people's rights away. Like I feel like what you gonna start doing, and is this gonna be is it gonna become a mass genocide? Are you going to create some legislature that makes, you know what I'm saying, you're going to start to kill people legally? Or are we going to go to where people can only have so many kids? Like, I feel like all of that is like coming in the near future, and it's going to be a police state. Like, it's going to be terrible. Like, what is, like, who, you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes absolutely no sense. And then a lot of these people that are writing these bills and introducing them and things like that have so many skeletons in their closet. So many skeletons in their closet. And it's just like, you know, they put on this front and say, oh, we're for this. Yes, I'm appalled by this. But then you're doing it too. Like, sir, I seen you in that dress through your window. You know?
Yep.
And if people make their decisions about what they want to do with their life, and they're still and they're still able to maintain or be part of the population, they're working, they pay their taxes, you know, they're not out here being violent, breaking laws. And what is the problem? Like,
they're productive citizens, paying their taxes, living their lives.
A productive member of society, and it doesn't matter. You have to look this way and be a productive member of society, is what it sounds like to me.
And of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene and some of her other cronies, they feel like people in the LGBTQ community should be lined up and executed.
See what I'm saying? Mass genocide. I feel like that's going to happen next. And it's scary. Like, it's so scary, you know? And then it's going to force people to go back into hiding.
Yeah.
You know, that's just terrible.
Yeah, this is what these Republicans want, which is crazy because a lot of the young people, which is the Gen Zs, is like, no, this isn't what we want. This isn't the world the country that we want to live in. So this is why they created this fuck around and find out movement. So they created this movement where, you know, they're like, hey, if you guys are going to pass laws that's going to take away people's freedoms and their rights and stuff, we're not going to stand for that. So every time there's an election, we're going to vote you out. Every time we find out that one of you are passing laws, or you constantly passing laws that's going to infringe on people's freedoms, we're going to vote you out. And that's literally what they've been doing. That's what we saw here in Wisconsin when we had the vote for our Supreme Court judge, and you saw how salty that man was when he lost the election because he fucked around and found out. And that's what the whole movement is about. That man wasn't for women's rights. He didn't care about I'm not a woman, but I feel like they should have, it's their choice to do what they want to do with their body. I don't want to be told what to do with my body. So why should I be like, no, you can't do that with your body? Like, no, body. I don't care what you do with your body. Your choice. Let them do what they want to do to their body. Just
And
like they got it's a
then complain why so many people need to be on welfare, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
It's like it's a court case right now where a judge ruled that one of the abortion pills that's used basically in about 80 some countries around the world is he basically had it pulled off the market, saying that it was unsafe and all these other kind of things. And this drug has been used in America for at least the last 20 years. From some studies, it's saying it's safer than using Tylenol. So why does he feel like he has the right to do that? And these Christian groups are constantly, taking stuff to court. And then this is why I'm saying, like, a lot of Christian people people practice Christianity or Catholics. They've been pissed off at me lately. And to be honest, I can give two fucks. Because they already got mad. They said, talking about Easter. Like, I don't really celebrate Easter. It doesn't make sense. It's the day that the resurrection of Jesus. I said, well, I didn't know he resurrected in 2 different months. I didn't know that was possible. And I don't know what an Easter bunny who lay eggs got to do anything. I thought bunnies were animals. Rabbits were mammals. So make it make sense to me. I don't know. I don't get the whole point of Easter. I got older and don't understand the point of Easter. I don't get it. And I'm like, and then on top of, like, y'all worship what y'all call the good book. And I'm like, y'all worship this book and go by what's in this book. And this book is basically telling y'all to hate. At the same time, how can a book tell you to love thy neighbor and to love everyone for who they are, but at the same time it's teaching y'all using it to spread hate? And it's actually and it's telling y'all to hate, and you trying to say that this book is telling you to hate other people? That just like they didn't believe me when I said, oh, well, the Bible was rewritten in the 1980s. No, it wasn't. I said the way how homosexuality is described now was not in the Bible before 1980. So it's to me, the Bible that you guys are using today and spreading hate is using to spread hate was man-made. Now, is there an original one out there with true stories? Maybe. But we won't know because, there are certain people of a certain race who want to have control and using this Bible to control the world.
The Roman Catholics know.
And you think they sharing their secret? No, they too busy touching little boys.
The Roman Catholics definitely probably got very old versions of the Bible.
Because then on the top of that, then they'd be like the new King James version, a new version of this and a new version of that. I'm like, how many damn new versions is it if there's only one book written?
They keep on translating it basically so people can understand it in modern language. But then it's like it's a game of telephone. You translate something and it loses meaning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of that,
Because I feel like the original Bible was written in a language that nobody in today's world would be able to understand.
Wasn't it written in Hebrew?
And how many of those people are left?
It's very few people who can read actual Hebrew.
So I'm like, and y'all want people, y'all expect people to believe in it? Like they kept on saying, well, you're an atheist. I said, I never said I believe that there wasn't a God. I believe there's a God. I believe there's a higher power.
And you're entitled to have it. Like, that's the thing. People need to get up off of that and stop Bible thumping other people. It's other religions in this world as well. People are free to believe in and have faith in whatever it is they want to.
Mm-hmm.
So, you just going to, man, I said this the other day. It's so astounding to hear people's opinions come out their mouths, but just imagine what it is that they're actually not saying.
Right.
That's what scares me. Like, all of these laws that are coming into place, this stuff has been brewing and brewing and brewing. And I can just imagine just being a fly on the wall and actually hearing some opinions, like, just reading the minds and thoughts of people. Like, it's crazy. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy, and it's scary, and it's overwhelming at the same time. And when people place things like this as a priority over the future generations being like executed where they're supposed to be safe at.
Mm-hmm.
Rule of thumbs is always going to be unarmed people, women and children are off limits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what it is. It's like these shootings are becoming more and more frequent without motive, without a true motive.
In the United States, it's been 146 mass shootings, and mind you, we still only in the beginning of April.
That's a
This
damn
year,
shame.
this year, 146 mass shootings.
That's a damn shame. And you know what? They're going to continue to allow it as population control. They're going to let people kill off each other. Why wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like they're going into these schools that feel like, well, live like it was in the 1950s. And when you ask somebody, like when these people say, well, we want to make America great again, when was America ever great for black people? When was America ever great for Mexicans? America was only great for white people.
America didn't even belong to us. Let's just start there. And now
None of us.
that pushed all of the Indians, the reservations are going towards the west of the United States. And it's just so appalling. Like, this is not even our country.
Not at all.
Here, used up the resources, created all these crazy ass laws, and then expect for people to conform to it. That's why the Native Americans have their own set of rules.
It's crazy. It was this video today, and these two news anchors was on TV, and this white guy just started talking, and the black guy, he just let him talk or whatever. He was talking about how the Mexicans need to go back to their land and how they should be able to come to America and all this other kind of stuff. And these two just happened in Texas. So the black man got to talking. He said, now you trying to send them back to land or just you trying to tell them they can't come to this land. Like you said, this land didn't originally belong to white people. It didn't belong to you. It didn't belong to us. It belonged to them. The Mexicans, Mexico, New Orleans, and all them southern states, Florida, that was all part of Mexico. That was Mexico. We didn't own that till after the Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah.
So all of that land was Mexico. Mexico owned it. That's who was there. So you're trying to tell them they can't come to a country that they originally owned. You basically bullied them to go down to Mexico and claim you bought the land. Who's to say that America really even gave them the money for the land?
Right. It's just because they wrote it in a book, it happened.
Exactly. Like they said, the indigenous people and the Indians were here first. They're just like people don't like the Vikings. They traveled across the ocean way before Christopher Columbus, and they was in South America.
Oui.
So you got these people, these white men now today who are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s feel like they are superior, like they created America. Like, no, you didn't. And this is what I come to, like, there needs to be a cutoff. I'm like, I honestly feel like after the age of 50 to 55, you should no longer be able to be running government, to be honest. Because once again, somebody who's in 50 to 55 and these people who are 60 and 70 years old and even 80 that's still in office, some 90, does not have an idea of what it's like to live in this day and age as a normal citizen. Like, they have no idea, no sense of reality of how it is for normal citizens. Like, people would say, like, the millennials, they're lazy, or and all these other kind of stuff. Like, you guys don't have any things and all these other things. Like, back for the baby boomers, it was easy for them to go and work a job, or whatever, and they got rewarded with a house. The house, a nice pension, and retirement, and all that kind of stuff. And even the silent generation before them, it was easier. Nowadays, you can work your ass off and put in, some people put in more than 40, 50, 60 hours in a week. And at the end of the day, your only reward is a granola bar, like the guy said.
Mm.
Back then, when the silent generation and boomers were buying homes, you can buy, a 6-7 bedroom house for 50,000 or less. You fast forward to now, the kind of houses that they were spending $40 to $50 to $60,000 on now cost $200,000 or more.
Mm-hmm.
We can't afford to live in
upwards to 500,000-600,000, depending
exactly.
on what area of the states you're in.
Millennials can't afford to live.
Nope.
Viewers, but like they tell, you like this. Millennials. No, the millennials don't live on their own. How?
They can't. I had that discussion with my oldest. I believe I told you that. I told him, I don't think that he probably wouldn't be stable until he hit 30.
Yeah, like there are some millennials who in their 30s have roommates because once again the cost of living is so expensive.
Yep.
Like gas is going back up to $4 a gallon. A studio apartment costs you in Wisconsin, if you in the urban populated city, where all the stuff happened at, a studio apartment is $1,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So after you spend $1,000 a month on a studio apartment, you're probably gonna spend about $150 to $200 on utilities like gas and electricity. And if you want cable or something like that, cable and internet, if you get those together, I don't know who still pays for cable, but if you decide to get those together, that's another $200 got right there.
Yeah.
So
and then the price of food has went up.
So by the time you pay your rent and pay for your cell phone and your utilities and you buy food for your house, because they're not going to give you any food stamps, you already out about $1,800. And the average person, if you're not working at a job that pays you at least $19 or more, you're not even making enough money to live.
No.
So imagine those people.
Don't let you have kids.
And I would just say that don't be one of the people who has 3 or 4 kids and you're only making $15 an hour. Like people can't afford to live.
No.
Things are starting to get more and more expensive, but yet pay isn't really increasing to match that. Like a lot of places say, we increased our minimum pay to this, and that. Yeah, your minimum pay starts at 18, but now $18 is almost not even a livable wage no more.
Nope. Not at all.
Like I went to the gas station today, and even with a 10-cent discount at $3.30 a gallon, it still costed me $37 to fill up from half a tank of gas.
Yep.
So I can only imagine somebody who either got a larger vehicle and has to fill up from E. So I'm pretty sure if I have to fill up from E, I'm spending at least $60 to $70 on gas.
Man, let's talk about these plane ticket prices. Woo-wee.
The cost of plane ticket and we also need to talk about this new thing that the government is rolling out in January. Also, I mean not January, July. The cost of plane ticket.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
A round trip ticket. I was looking online. A round trip ticket for like American, Delta, and I believe JetBlue. Those 3 companies. A round trip ticket from where we live at Milwaukee, Wisconsin to Miami, Florida was $900. Was the cheapest. Was like $900 or some dollars. And if you want to ride, middle class, you're looking at about $1,200. And if you're looking at first class, $1,400.
That's ridiculous. And then they want you to stop at 2-3 different cities.
Exactly. But it's ridiculous. I just something needs to be done about the price of stuff, and then they trying to use the excuse of, well, because of COVID and where's there really that much people flying and all this other kind of stuff. So like now they don't even fill up the tanks all the way on the airplanes. They fill up enough. They put enough gas in there to get you to wherever your layover is at.
And then want to say it ain't no recession.
Right.
This is terrible.
Exactly. And then speaking of the government and central banking, in July, there's supposed to be this government program that rolls out. And with this program is basically every time you send money, it gets sent to the federal government. And this is going to put like Cash App and Zelle and all these other companies, basically is going to put them out of business. So every time you send money, it has to go to this big government system thing, and then it gets sent to the company that you're sending it to. So with that being said, say like we have another global pandemic, and they say, well, only essential workers are supposed to be out. So if you're not an essential worker, guess what that government can now do? They can turn off access to your bank account. So every time when you try to go to the store and buy something, decline. If they feel like, oh, you've been traveling too much and you're trying to buy another plane ticket, decline.
This is so crazy coming off and I think it's a documentary on Netflix. One about the Bitcoin founder, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then now recently this Cash App founder was stabbed to death. Like, who stabbed somebody to death? Like this is out of control. Like these deaths are so random. And it's like anything dealing with kind of a new process of money exchange. These people are killed.
So they're trying to do it where our money is mostly digital, and all digital money has to go through the federal government.
Shouldn't be allowable.
So like in China, they have this same thing. And so say like you go jaywalking in China, you jaywalk in China. As soon as you walk across that street, they take money out your account for a fine. And that's what we're aiming towards here. Yeah, they are about to change the currency soon. So Russia, China, and South Africa and some other countries, they are trying to create their own world bank, how America, Europe, and all that and everything is. They feel like America shouldn't have so much money. The American dollar should not be worth as much money as it is. So when it comes to the World Bank, 95% of the world's currency is mostly based off the US dollar. So like we can travel to a lot of countries and use our American dollars, and it's considered of value. When you so say like somebody from like South Africa or Russia or China comes to the United States and trying to use whatever their currency is, it's not worth anything here. Like they can't use it.
So, but that was the whole purpose of Bitcoin. It was supposed to be like a global currency.
So these countries like Russia and China and South Africa, I guess they were once at one point in time was trying to become part of the World Bank. When it comes to World Bank, it's is regulated. It has a lot of policies and stuff that's in place to protect stuff. And I guess Russia and China is not with that, so they're trying to create their own banking system to topple the World Bank. Even which, if these other countries combine all their money together, it still isn't what our world banking does, like what ours have. So, like if the one that America is a part of, that world banking system is worth about $40 to $50 trillion with all the money combined between all the countries. And when it comes to the other bank that they're trying to create, their value with all their countries combined is only about $20-something trillion. So we still have majority when it comes to more money. The World Bank still has more money. So yeah, so with coming in July, because it's launching in July, and they haven't really talked about this on the news or anything, but it's coming this July, where basically the government is
now or some shit.
Yep. where the government is going to be taking control of our bank accounts, basically telling us what we can and cannot spend our money on.
Well, let me hurry up and spend my money and change it into cash.
Right. Because it's like say like you got them AR-15s and you decide you want to go buy 3,000 bullets for that gun. And then whoever's in charge looking at that transaction gonna be like, nope, decline.
People ain't gonna do nothing but start making their own stuff. That's it. Let me go ahead and buy a farm and live off the land.
That's where that's what it's leading to.
Let me go ahead and buy some land.
I swear that is what it's leading to. Oh my God, something needs to be done, people. We need to do something. It's this. I don't know, because Joe Biden signed off on this too, so it's both parties when it comes to this whole new banking thing. I'm not for it. They say that it's supposed to be an update to come out to your phones, like for your banking app. If it's something that you do not want to do not update your banking app on your phone as a way to decline this. I don't know if we have a say so in this. So there's this other outlet that I was looking at where they was saying, like, if you had your federal tax returns deposited into your account, they already have access to it for this federal banking, whatever the thing was called. They already have access to your account for that. So much going on in this world, so much bullshit. But let's head into final thoughts. Tommy, I did not know this was you that whole time. Thank you for watching, Tommy. Thank you. Make sure you hit the share button too. Where was it? Oh, final thoughts. I guess we can head into final thoughts. You want to start it on?
Sure. I'm scared as hell for what this world is going to look like for my children. I mean, I don't understand any of it. We really need to get some people in there that really reflects what that's actually going to do this country some good and actually focus on the things that need to be, fixed. Transgender stuff is not one of them at all. Just the fact that you want to ban books, you want to control the money, you want to control people's thoughts and opinions, you want to do all of this stuff. Like, what is it leading to? You might as well just wipe out the human race at this point, because that's where it's going. And it's scary. Like, it's getting worse and worse very, very quickly, and I really don't know what to do about it, Like, we would have to do, like, these upcoming elections, like, really, really, really get out on these polls, put people in position to stop it, because it's getting like extremely out of hand, and they need to be stopped.
I totally agree. My final thoughts are, this is the main reason why I do not want kids. Like, I don't want to bring kids into a world like this. Like, I refuse to do that. Like, it's horrible. I think there's more that we can do than passing laws to inspect transgender kids' genitalias, or any kids' genitalias that they pass. I feel like there's a lot more that we could be doing out there. I don't know. Pretty soon, I guess everyone, like Canada, opened up their borders as a safe haven for people, or where people can file for, what's the word I'm trying to think of?
Like asylum.
Yeah, you can file for asylum.
Always been with the shits though.
So Canada has opened it up to the U.S., where if anybody of the LGBTQ community feel unsafe, they can apply for asylum in Canada and become a Canadian.
Canada always been with the shits. They got the healthcare going on, the weed smoking going on. Like, they're inviting the LGBTQ community. Like, it's So we need whoever. We need to bring a Canadian down here
Let
and
the
have them
regular
and have them
government.
take the American citizenship test, become an American citizen, and then run for office.
Right.
So
Oh,
for real.
I mean, I'm with it. Like they need to make that happen. Oh my God. So next week on the show, I forgot to talk about it on this episode, but next week on the show, we're going to talk about how Marjorie Taylor Greene wants the Republican states to become their own country, and basically she wants to start a civil war again here in the U.S. So that's going to be next week on the show.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's going to be next week. Thank you for everybody who's tuned into this. Thank you to everybody that's going to stream this episode. I know I was late on getting the other 2 episodes out. I'm sorry about that. The audio versions of those episodes, they drop. By the time this come out, it'll be dropping. So thank you all for that. And make sure y'all head over to repsports.com and use code Martel1 to receive 5 to 10% off your purchase. And head over to habitsnewyork.com and use code Anthony4 to receive 20% off your purchase. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Same Cast Different Day Podcast on Facebook and on Instagram at CDD Podcast. And we will see you all on the next episode of Same Cast Different Day Podcast.
Bye.